There is no turning back now. Everything we have covered this month has led us all to this day. Today is the day we venture further and further into the intrepid yet horrifying ruins. That being said, if you've been following along with our guides lately, you've actually already conquered a significant portion of these so-called ruins. Cause if you have ever illuminated the light bulb plains, fought the endless hordes of slurpers and shadow creatures of the lichen fields, or have ever put your life on the line against the banana munchers, you've been through the wilds, and the wilds are technically ruin biomes. But do not mistake my optimism. The real nightmares lie within the compact arenas of the sacred biomes, the rather sparsity of the military biomes, the dark, web-filled halls of the Labyrinth, and of course, the evil and mysterious branches of the atrium. Oh boy, that sounds like a lot of land to cover, and it's why there will be separate guides for separate sections like the Labby and Atrium. But for now, if we're going to the others, we will still need preparation, as I don't care how many hours you have in this game, or how good you think you are. The ruins will always come with challenges that can, and will, put anyone in their place if they ain't ready. But don't worry, we will fire right through this as to get back ASAP. But speaking of fire, although I think it's a great idea to have the materials for potential backup light sources, going down under relying on traditional light is a terrible idea. Craft yourself a lantern, as the portableness of it will help us tremendously. But we can do better with a set of Mongols at our disposal. So go ahead and play a round or two of whack-a-mole to obtain the creatures you need, and face down the hentai in the caves to nab yourself a glowberry. Then, craft you some Mongols, as these will prove pivotal in your potential survival. I wholeheartedly endorse smacking your meat against your foes' heads, as you'll be doing a lot of fighting down there, and a weapon with good damage and no durability will serve us well. I recommend to bring the loot needed to craft another while down there too. However, there will be some tough cookies along the way, so maybe a higher damage weapon is suitable, but with the present sanity drain of the caves already in effect, the real potential of battling nightmare cycles, plus the sanity drain of wielding the dark sword to begin with, you may end up regretting trying to manage using it. But sanity is something that we need to consider, so bringing some good green caps and their 15 sanity each is an option for sure. Or you can grab some cactus flesh from, well, cactus, and cook that up as well. Then use similar sanity regeneration, but with the added bonus of filling your hunger and a tiny bit of healing. However, if you want the best of both worlds, jerky is the way to go. Easy to come by, provides great hunger, healing, and sanity gains, and can potentially last longer for you down under. Get to drying, friendos. The more meat you have hanging low, the better the juices flow. But what about heals? Well, get some fresh eggs from your birdie friends and head to your crockpots to make some pierogi with additional meat and veg. Or spend your days as a farmer in hopes of growing some dragon fruit. Then feed some of it to the animals to get the seeds needed to become a farmer who solely grows dragon fruit. Oh, but don't forget to turn them into dragon fruit pies though. As for armor, take whatever you feel comfortable using, but perhaps you should plan around which light source you'll be using more often than not when it comes down to picking headgear or traditional armor pieces. That being said, another consideration is having a backpack along for the ride, because it can certainly allow for better loot transportation, and the loot will be flowing like rivers. But as for other tools, to maximize loot gathering, you'll need a pickaxe and a hammer. So get to it. But one more suggestion. Hunt down the hunting pack and pray to the seven that you get as lucky as me with the drops. Get his tam and get his tusk before you venture down. Why? Well, not only will the tam negate the negative sanity drain of the caves, the walking cane will come in handy if you need to skedaddle out of there fast. The tam is far more useful in this case though. But the most useful thing of all, hutch! Find him, as his additional storage will turn a trivial task into a walk in the park. And you'll be able to bring more in your inventory as well. This is it, folks. The moment you have all been asking for. Find an entrance, and let's start breaking down the ruins, yes? Why are Mongols so helpful? Well, you see those enemies over yonder? Of course you do. Mongols are the best. But take them away, and you could be walking right in the danger without even seeing it. And one of the dangers of the ruins comes in the form of damaged bishops. The nightmare version of the normal Clockwork bishops. The two variants are practically identical when it comes to stats, but their loot tables will be the thing that varies. And trust me when I say that these guys should always be the priority number one when dealing with multiple Clockworks, as a decently high damaged ranged enemy is the bane of our existences in Don't Starve. And that high health is not going to do you any favors either, so kill them deadzo ASAP. You see that hunk of junk up there? That is one damaged rook, a variant of a normal rook you see up above. Now these guys actually do variant stats along with their loot, but they are just as, if not more dangerous when in these enclosed areas than they are anywhere else. You see, rooks destroy anything that gets in their path on their way to bonking the player in the face. But that also includes other Clockworks. And since rooks do 200 damage to other mobs during their charge attack, using them as battering rams against anything causing you issue is a valid strategy. Be mindful though, you may cost the life of your companions if you decide to go the chaos route. I'm so sorry, Hutch. You will be avenged. Oh yeah, side note. You will most certainly be having to combat nightmare cycles down here, so be prepared to fight more than just mechanical beasts. As during the cycles, shadow creatures will spawn in the ruins from these nightmare lights, even if you aren't insane. But if you stay too long near them, you will be. Nightmare lights can drain upwards of 900 sanity per minute, and you simply are not countering that without some more fancy equipment. My advice, stay away from the pretty lights. No, seriously, there is nothing stopping you from just finding a safe place down here and just hanging until the nightmare phase is finished. There is no need to just force yourself to fight hordes upon hordes endlessly. Just try to live to fight another day. Anywho, see that guy staring us down? That's what is known as a damaged knight, the long-distant cousin of the Clockwork Knight. Damaged Knight attack faster, have better range, and will drop different loot when compared to the OG, but their kiting patterns are the exact same, so you should have no issues taking these ones down over the others. But be careful about attracting the attention of said others, because they will roll up to help a brother out if you start attacking one, and that just means more trouble for you. But enough of who is around. What are they dropping? Well, that would be a plethora of fancy, rare gems, gears and nightmare fuel galore, things called Thule sights, and perhaps a collection of trinkets, likely wires, which I highly recommend you hoard for yourself. We'll talk about it later. But in other words, the ruins be where the best stuff is. But it doesn't end there. Grab a hammer and find these broken clockworks scattered about and smash them till they pop, netting you even more loot. Check out the percentages here, but don't worry. You'll be smashing dozens of these things when it's all said and done, so you're likely to get everything eventually. Careful though, you also have a chance to spawn clockworks themselves from the broken ones, so remain vigilant when going about your business, or you may be caught way off guard. But here's something I imagine most out there don't know. You can actually repair these broken piles of junk using gears, and if you happen to use 3 in total, you will spawn a clockwork that is actually loyal to you. Yes, you can actually befriend damaged clockworks, but sadly, the Clockworks won't be friends with yours, so there will be some infighting in your social circle if you ain't careful. But it gets better. Not only will you still net the loot from the broken Clockworks, you can spawn any variant too. Plus, they are loyal until they die, as there is no timer for them. But sadly, they will turn on you if you attack other Clockworks, so be mindful of that. But Beard, what's the pickaxe for? Good question. They are for these ancient statues. Mine them for the corresponding gem on their wands, plus full pieces of Thulsite. And heck, maybe even more. But make note, if you mine them during the nightmare phase, you could end up spawning some shadowy buttheads. But what is this Thulsite I keep going on about? Well, it's a material needed in many ancient crafting recipes, and you can go about getting it through the very means we've already have been doing, or through hammering the many Thulsite walls that litter the ruins, so get to smashing. Where do I do this ancient crafting, you ask? Well, you need to locate one of these, an ancient pseudoscience station, but you're very likely to stumble upon more broken ones like the one you can see here. In their broken form, the stations will only allow for 7 recipes to be crafted out of a total of 14. But how do we fix them? Well, you fix them with Thulsite. 5 pieces to be exact, and once the repairs are in place, the station will be at full capacity for you, allowing for all 14 recipes to be crafted. We are going to cover the ancient pseudoscience station and its many wonders in a full separate video, but for now, note that I highly advise against hammering them, even though the loot table is amazing. Why not hammer them? Well, I think you can see why, folks, because you're about to have a lot of unwelcome guests showing up. Honestly, the lesson to be learned from all this is that everything wants to eat your face off down here, and nothing, not even helpful structures, are always gonna be friendly to ya. You need to be on your A game and pick your battles. Don't go wildly into nightmare cycles while also fighting Clockworks potentially. Note the possibility of spawning more trouble than you can handle, and just play smart. Unfortunately, I can't really help you with that, as I'm not there to play alongside you, but hopefully you have been learning something here. But let's move on. Just so you know, the real station has 2 damaged bishops guarding it, and is surrounded by nightmare lights. So if you happen to stumble upon this scene here, you are in the right spot. And oh yeah, the Labyrinth. We will have a separate video on this as well, but my tips to you now are abandon your companions at the entrance and do your best to remain on the edges of the webbing. You do that, you'll be able to avoid the dangling depth spiders who want your dangling bits and be able to navigate the maze with relative ease. Oh, and then there's this guy. But don't worry about him now. We should have him dead by the end of the week. But there you go, everyone. We came, we saw, we conquered, and we bloody made it out with buttloads of loot to boot. But before we go, I think we should discuss what one pile of seemingly worthless junk can actually do for you. So, remember those wires I implored you to collect? Yeah, I'm gonna need you to head to the fat man himself and pay tribute. Why? Well, I think you can see why. So enjoy the never-ending golden shower, folks. So there you have it, everyone. An extensive guide on the ruins that doesn't even contain all the ruins. But I felt like breaking things up into separate videos would put minds a little at ease, as cramming it all into this one would have not only taken a heck of a lot longer, it probably would have been a bit heavy and overwhelming, so just expect more of what I didn't touch on in other videos very soon. But for now, I hope you can now enter the ruins with a little more confidence after today, and ask any other questions you have down below. Take care, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.